All right, it is time for another gaming update. And it's been a few months since my last one, so I do have quite a bit to talk about, as you can see. So let's jump into some non video games, but video game related items. The first being the Final Fantasy Collector's Edition box set of the strategy guides 7, 8, and 9. And the camera is just having such a hard time picking up the cover there, but whatever. So I did an unboxing of this, so I'll put a link right here and it in the description box below. I got this from my girlfriend for my birthday. I love her. I love this. This is an updated version of the previous strategy guides that were out in like the 90s, but in hardcover as a set, and they're fantastic. They're beautiful. As a collector, I just love this. If you already have the strategy guides and you're not really into collecting strategy guides, you don't really need to pick them up. But if you're a huge fan of Final Fantasy games in the PS1 era, it's worth looking into. Next up, my brother was getting rid of some stuff, so I picked up some of his games, but I'm not actually keeping them because they're actually doubles. But I wanted the cases basically. I have those. I don't have them with me, but I also got two PlayStation 1 memory cards. You can never have enough memory cards. I also got a PlayStation 1 extra controller with the analog sticks, though, which is really nice. And also a DualShock 2, which is the PS2 controller. Finally, I have an official one. I originally had one of these, but I have no idea where it went, so I've been using like a Mad Catz one, which is, it lights up, so it's kind of cool, but it doesn't feel... It's still pretty darn good, but I like the original feel a little bit more. What's funny, though, is that like all the PlayStation controllers, other than PlayStation 4, are pretty much the exact same thing over and over again, which works fine though, because it was one of the best controllers ever, so I really can't complain. Okay, now on to some video games, and to save me a little bit of time, all these here I'm just going to shotgun through afterwards. I'm going to go through this pile first, but this pile, I did a video of that already when I did my game hunting video, so I'll put a link right here and in the description box below, because I only got to play one of the games, so that's in this pile. Everything else I have not touched yet. Alright, let's start off with such a good introduction for this video, but Legend of Dragoon. I've talked about this game numerous times. I love this game to death. This is one of my favorite RPGs of all time, one of my favorite games of all time. There's something about this game. If you've never played this before, I would definitely recommend getting this on PSN. You can play it on your PSP, PlayStation 3, Vita, and it's only $6 on PSN. It's insane. That is a steal if you can't pick up the actual copy of the game. But if you see it in the wild, pick it up. Definitely. For its time, the graphics, more so the cinematics, are really good. And it's the battle system. The battle system and the story that really hooked me into this game. I'm currently on disc 3, about halfway through, so I'm getting near the end. Only a disc and a half left to go. Although, if I remember correctly, I think disc 4 is quite long. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've beaten this game. So anyway, I'm currently on disc 3, and the battle system is really fun because it's turn-based, but you have additions, so every time that you attack, instead of just a regular normal attack, you press X a bunch of times, or circle, depending on what's going on, and the more that you hit it, the more damage that you do until you finally reach your limit. So it just adds a little bit more to the battle system. It makes them a lot less like long and tedious. It's still long, but at least you're doing things, and it switches it up. Also, when you turn into a Dragoon, that gives you magic, and it gives you more options for different battles, or different battle mechanics that you can use. So really just a fantastic RPG. I think disc 1 is still my favorite so far, but going through disc 4, I'll figure out if disc 1 is still my favorite. The introduction of that game is just so freaking good. I love it. A lot of the characters are really cool too and fleshed out. Lavitz, Rose, she's awesome. Kongol, Dart, everyone. They're just a really solid story with good characters, good battle system. You can't go wrong with that game. Next up, I've been playing a little bit more of my Vita lately. I don't know why, I just all of a sudden had a craving for it because I really neglected it while I had it, and it was like doing really well. Like 2012 and 2013, I think, were the best times for the Vita in terms of releases, like AAA releases or physical releases. It's really slowed down a lot now, but I do really want to get back into it. So recently I've been playing like Super Stardust, which is on PSN on the Vita. Fantastic game, awesome twin stick shooter. Just, if you like Resogun, you'd like Super Stardust because that's where it comes from. But anyway, I've also been playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have the regular Marvel vs. Capcom on Xbox 360, but I prefer playing fighters on a PlayStation console or a handheld because it just works really well. The Vita, the 3DS has a better selection of games, but I like the screen because it looks a lot better on the Vita, and also the layout of the system because it's really big, and I guess for a handheld it's not the greatest, but I pretty much just carry it around with me. Here I really don't go out that much with it. Like I never did that with a 3DS or even Game Boy. I never put them in my pocket. But anyway, really plays great on the Vita. It looks fantastic considering it's on a handheld. But I think it just really shows how powerful the Vita is. And yeah, really great fighter. And I really don't like fighters that much either. But recently also I've been getting into a kick for those as well. Starting because of that game. I just decided to pop it in and had a really good time with it. Next up, I picked up Story of Seasons. Now, I'm only at the introduction of this game, so I really don't have that much to talk about so far. But this is made by Marvelous, who are the people that used to make the Harvest Moon games, but recently Natsume has decided to make their own games. They're not using Marvelous anymore, so they no longer have the title of Harvest Moon, but this is the actual Harvest Moon series continuing on under the name of Story of Seasons. And so far, I'm only at the introduction, but it plays great. Really enjoying my time with that. And I will get back to it, but I'm playing another Harvest Moon game, which I'm going to get to eventually here. And that's what I'm focusing on that at the moment. But if you want to continue playing Harvest Moon on the handheld, go that route instead of Harvest Moon The Lost Valley, which is what Natsume produced. But apparently it's not the greatest Harvest Moon game. Only has the title. That's about it, apparently. Next up is Dragon's Crown, which I did pick up when I did my game hunting. This is a side-scrolling fantasy RPG beat-em-up that I played with my girlfriend, and we didn't have the greatest time with this. I kind of expected a little bit more, but it was just okay. We're only a few hours into the game, but we're just really not hooked. We've changed characters as well. I think I started off with the dwarf fighter, and then I took the knight, and she was the witch prince, the witch. So I told her to pick that character, and then she picked the Amazon afterwards with the gigantic thighs. We're enjoying it a little bit more when we switched up the characters, but it's still not gripping us as much as we thought it would. I don't know if later on we'll start really getting into it, but yeah. I don't know. It's just very... The combat, like the 2D side-scrolling combat, doesn't feel fleshed out. Like, it feels a little bit clunky. I don't know. I'm just not sure why I'm not clicking with that game. Okay, now we're into some newer releases, and that is Splatoon. I wanted to do a review of this, but I just ended up not... I just completely forgot about it, I guess. But I was constantly playing this game. When I first had this game, within the first week I was 30 hours into it. I was enjoying the hell out of this game. It is an awesome, addictive third-person shooter from Nintendo. And basically all it is running around shooting people and with paint and turning into squids and running around through the paint. Very simple. And the games are only 3 minutes long, but it's super addictive. Like, you'll be like, just one more game. And it's like, it's just 3 minutes. Oh, there goes 3 hours. Holy crap. It's just insanely addictive and fun. I'm playing with Jason and Kevin from Team Beardage. We've been having a blast. We've slowed down, obviously, as time has gone on. But the thing about this, too, is that constantly Nintendo is updating the game. Basically, they locked a lot on disc. So it's kind of like you're getting the full game, but slowly, and they're not charging anything for it, which is awesome. Like some people do, they have something locked on it and they say it's DLC, but it's already on there. But what Nintendo is trying to do is to try to prolong the life of the game. You had a level cap of 20 at the beginning. Now you have a level cap of 50. So they've added a lot of stuff and newer levels constantly as well. But just really an awesome game, and also the campaign mode is relatively short. Like you can probably beat it under 5 hours, but it's really fun. It kind of reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy because you're hopping around in that regard. But it also then you're just shooting stuff and trying to get to the end of the game. But the game constantly changes as you're playing it for the 5 hours. Every level is different and offers a new mechanic that you use. Either like all of a sudden you're gonna have to use sponges as platforms, so you shoot them with the paint, and then it'll just grow because the paint's it's wet now, so it grows as a sponge would, and then you jump on it. But then if an enemy shoots that sponge with their paint, then it grows smaller. So there's just a few things like that. There's also different platforms where you can shoot the paint and you just climb up it. But then there's also enemies that will go and erase your paint. So if you get caught and you fall down, you could die. Just little things like that, and they constantly do that throughout the game, changing it up all the time. The boss battles are also really fun. I just have so much to say about this game. Really simple, but amazing. If you have a Wii U, definitely pick this up. If you look at gameplay for this game, and you like third-person shooters, and you're kind of on the fence of getting Wii U, but you've been kind of interested because it has, you know, a really good amount of games, it's almost a system seller. Really, this is one of the best games I've played on the Wii U, possibly the best. It's hard to say, but I'm really enjoying my time with this game, and I don't even know how many hours I'm into it now. Next up, I've been playing a little bit with Kevin, WWE 2K15, which is not the greatest game. I've talked about this in my last gaming update, but we wanted to play online. And it was so hard getting into games. It would take forever for the loading screen to pop up, and sometimes it would just not load at all. So that really sucks. It's not the greatest WWE game, and the online just wasn't working. We're going to try to play a little bit more because, I mean, he bought the game so that we could play, and we've only had a few matches that we were able to play together. It looks great, but everything else is just, for the gameplay, just doesn't really work that well. In terms of matches, in terms of customization, in terms just so much is missing from this game. I'm really hoping that 2K16 is the proper game and, you know, fix the online. That's all I have to say. But I've been because that we started playing, I also started playing. It got me back into the groove of wanting to play the basically general manager mode. I think it's called the WWE Universe, and I've been having some fun with that. I'm basically making it right after the Attitude Era. When Stone Cold beat The Rock at WrestleMania 17, and basically I'm just gonna have WCW invade them all, because that's when Vince McMahon bought WCW. If you're not a wrestling fan, this makes no sense to you, so I'll just stop there. But yeah, I'm having fun with the general manager mode. Next up is another contender for Game of the Year. This and Splatoon already, just such awesome games. That is Batman Arkham Knight. Now, I did a review of this, so if you want to check out my thoughts in more detail, link right here and in the description box below. I'm saving myself a lot of time by doing this, I guess. But wow, this is... I still probably say that I like Batman Arkham Asylum more, the first game, because that it's limited, because of the feel for that game, because of the boss battles, and I just really felt that all the characters were used really well. But this feels like the definitive Batman game. What do I mean by that? If I say that Asylum's my favorite, it just means that the scope of this game is so huge, and the combat's better, feels more fleshed out. The Batmobile is in here. Now, a lot of people don't like the Batmobile. Like, they feel that it doesn't feel like the controls are just completely off. It takes a while to get used to, I will admit that, but after a while I completely got used to it. And another thing too is that they don't feel that Batman would be using the Batmobile as a tank. He kind of does. Like, I feel that Batman Begins, for example, you know, he uses the Batmobile it is kind of like a tank, and that kind of resembles what this one is, and it makes sense for what's going on. And he's blowing up robotic vehicles, so it makes sense. The storyline was pretty interesting. I just wish that there was a little more of Scarecrow, because he was kind of showed as the main character, but there's a really good way of bringing in other characters that you wouldn't think would be in this game and just used to perfection. Also, the voice of Batman is Kevin Conroy. Once again, he wasn't there for Origins, but he came back for this, and he is the Batman voice. It's just, when I hear his voice, same thing with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill has an amazing Joker voice, one of the best, but I mean, I also really like Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson, so I'm okay with that. Like, they're all really good Jokers, but the voice for Batman will forever be Kevin Conroy. He is Batman. Not me. I'm not going to say I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I can't do it. I can only do the Christian Bale voice because I think everybody can mimic that voice. I'm Batman. Where's the bomb? That's pretty much it. But Kevin Conroy, I'm Batman. That's kind of, I guess, his voice a little bit, but he does it so much better. Okay, next up is the Halo Master Chief Collection. I've been playing this with Kevin as well. We just beat Halo 1, and now we're on to Halo 2. Halo 1, I guess I was looking at that game with like nostalgic glasses because I remembered loving it at the time, but going about playing it, it just really felt long and tedious, and there wasn't really a lot of change. The graphical upgrade, because you can actually go back and forth, which is really cool. If you haven't heard about it, you can basically look what the game would look like back when it was on the Xbox. The only thing is that it's in HD, but then you can also see the remaster at the flick of a switch. Like, you just press a button and boom, you're looking at the old version. Boom, you're back to the new one. You can keep going back and forth in combat, and it's seamless. Really awesome. I'd sometimes play through like part of the level actually on the old system, which is because it was just cool to go back and forth. But Halo 1 just wasn't as good as I remembered it. Halo 2 is pretty much exactly as I remembered it. Halo 2, I guess, is really where the campaign of the games got better. But I've also been playing multiplayer with Kevin and Jason because right now Halo 1 and Halo 2 you can only play 2 players co-op. Once we get to Halo 3 and Halo 4, we'll be able to play basically up to 4, so we're going to be the three of us going through it. So we just got to beat Halo 2. But, you know, it's an awesome job that they did with that Master Chief Collection. Other than at the beginning when it first launched, and you couldn't have multiplayer games. It just took forever. But they've completely fixed that. And having a really good time with it. Playing the campaign and the multiplayer. Another one that I went back to and played with Kevin and Jason. We've been playing a lot of games online recently, and it's just we've just been having a lot of fun. Plants vs. Zombies. I played loads of this beforehand, but we played a little bit more online, and we played the survival mode. But when I played the survival mode, it's good. It's really good, but it makes me miss Left 4 Dead, and it just makes me want a Left 4 Dead like on the next generation consoles so much more, because that was one of my favorite first-person shooters. That's a third person, but the survival part of it reminds me of Left 4 Dead. Next up is Batman Arkham City. So before playing Arkham Knight, I hadn't beaten this game. I hadn't even played this game. So I don't know, a few weeks before the release of Arkham Knight, I think 2 weeks before it was released. No, 2 weeks before I got the game. I got the game a little bit later because I didn't go pick it up because I was still trying to beat this game. So a week before that was out, I started playing this and I beat it. It's really good. Not as good as Arkham Knight, and in my opinion, not as good as Arkham Asylum. It's still really fun though. You know, open city, doesn't feel like it's not intimidating or anything like that. But not as many boss fights, and I will say that about Arkham Knight too. I kind of miss the boss fights of Batman Arkham Asylum, even though the boss fights in Arkham Asylum were really easy. I don't know. I just miss those about that game. All right, and last game that I played for this month is Harvest Moon: Tree of Tranquility, which my girlfriend got me also for my birthday. And this is the one that I got Story of Seasons, and then like right afterwards I got this game, and I was like, okay, my girlfriend got me this, so I want to play this. So once I beat this, I will go on to Story of Seasons. Hopefully I won't be too Harvest Mooned out. But anyway, this is the first Harvest Moon on the Wii. It's the beginning. I was like, okay, there's way too much at the beginning of explaining what to do, and I'm like, I know what to do. I've played numerous Harvest Moon games, and it held my hand a little bit too much. But once I got through the introduction, and you're able to just, here's your farm, go out and do what you want to do, I was having a lot of fun. I got addictive again. Not the best Harvest Moon. I still prefer probably in this style Like my favorites are Harvest Moon Back to Nature and Harvest Moon 64. But in this style, as in like it's more of a third person perspective instead of a top down view, which is what the older games were. I'd still say that probably Wonderful Life is better. I haven't played Magical Melody though, so I'm not really sure about that. But relatively fun Harvest Moon game, and you don't have to use the Wiimote either. You can just go on and use the classic controller, which is what I'm playing this with. Makes it a lot easier, in my opinion. I rarely like using the Wiimote. I'm about 10 hours in, and honestly, I'm still in the first month. But I'm just, I guess, maybe taking my time. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, why it's taking me so long. Harvest Moon games are generally pretty long. And there's a lot of bachelors and bachelorettes in this game. You can play as a boy or girl, which is nice for the ladies out there. And there's, I don't even know how many bachelors and bachelorettes there are. There's a lot of them, more than I expected. So I have no idea who I'm going for. I picked out maybe 4. So whenever I figure out who exactly I'm going to go with, I'll let you all know. I don't even have any livestock in this game. How am I 10 hours into this game? I don't know what I've been doing. Like, I'm being successful and stuff, but I've been mining a lot. That I know, because at the beginning you don't have a lot of money. And you can't even access livestock. That's why. You can't access livestock until later in the game, when you either upgrade your hammer, because it's blocked off, or eventually apparently they'll unblock itself at the very end of spring. But I upgraded my hammer and I was able to break through and let the people that were like living there and stranded apparently for a while. The girl that came out from there, I'm interested in. She's a bartender at the. Also in this game, everything is like the Sunday Inn, Waffle Town. Like, it's all food, and it just makes me hungry every time that I see that. So yeah, I guess I'm really having a good time, and I haven't even done everything in this game that has to offer, and I'm like 10 hours in, so I don't even have livestock. That's interesting that I'm having so much fun with it and still not at livestock. Okay, and I will say that it takes a while though to get from one end of the map to the other. It takes longer than I expected, but anyway, good game so far. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly shotgun through these because I haven't played them yet, and I've already talked about them in my gaming update. So Tales of Hearts are an RPG on the Vita that I really want to pick up. This came out last year, so I mean, there's still games coming out for the Vita, just few and far between. And I'm happy that I picked it up because it seems to be going up in price, and I don't think they're going to do another run of that game. So pick up RPGs when you can. You cannot go wrong with picking up an RPG when you can. And I picked it up for $30 or $35, I can't remember. Brand new, but it was the gutted copy at EB Games. But that's fine. It looks exactly brand new, so that's cool. And the game is brand new. Also, my girlfriend picked up a few Xbox games, Xbox Original Shrek and Shrek 2, and I picked up Ninja Gaiden. But I think I'm going to wait for Ninja Gaiden Black. Am I pronouncing that right? Does anybody know? Is it Gaiden? Gaiden? I don't know. But I've heard that the black version is a better version because it's easier. I guess I could try and see how far I can get, but I don't want to get frustrated and then, can't beat the game. Next up, I picked up Disgaea 3. Or actually, my girlfriend picked this up for me during that video. Little Big Planet 2, which we're hoping to start playing soon. Final Fantasy 13, the shiny version, which is what I want. Also, Final Fantasy I do want on the PlayStation because I've heard that it's a little bit of a better version than the Xbox 360. And I really like playing video games that started on one console, and I want to continue it on that console. Even though it's multi-platform, I kind of want to stick with that. And RPGs just feel better on this Sony console. I don't know why. It just seems Xbox, they have RPGs, but they're not known for that. Next up is Blaze Blue, Calamity Trigger, and Continuum Shift. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Next up is the Metal Gear Solid Limited Edition, which I got for $5. And actually it was like, I think, buy 3, get the 4th off. So technically I could have gotten this for free. And it comes with everything, so it's complete. Awesome stuff. And Assassin's Creed 3 Brotherhood. I do want to go through all the Assassin's Creed games. I've only beaten the first one, and I have Assassin's Creed 2, and that's it. And these as well. Dead Rising and Condemned, Criminal Origins. So there it is. That is my gaming updates. I don't know what number we're at. We have to look at it to add it afterwards when I'm editing. But yeah, there you go. Quite a few games, and I do have Rare Replay coming in the mail. It's a little bit delayed because Amazon ran out, but I'm okay with that because I bought a lot of games through the E3 sale here in Canada. They had an E3 sale where it was get any game, pre-order 3 games and above, and get them for 30% off. So Rare Replay cost $21. That's including tax and shipped. So I'm okay with it being a little bit delayed. But it just looked like they didn't make enough copies or something. Or they didn't have enough copies, but they now have them. So I should be getting it hopefully by the end of the week. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you've been playing recently. And I will see you all next time. You've been bearded in Beardage.